This video is about the implementation, design and implementation of a 64-point fast Fourier transform. Basically, a fast Fourier transform is one of the alternate implementations of discrete Fourier transform. So as we all know, Fourier transform is used for conversion of a time domain signal to a frequency domain signal. So 1D DFT is for 1D signals, and similarly we have 2D and 3D Fourier transforms as well. So basically the discrete Fourier transform, the direct implementation of discrete Fourier transform has a disadvantage of the time complexity of order of n square. So that is being resolved using a alternate implementation called fast Fourier transform. As the name says, it has very uh, low time complexity compared to the direct implementation of discrete Fourier transform. So in the basic idea or the of the fast Fourier transform is that if you have 32 samples or 32 sample sequence, for example, or rather n sample sequence, for example, that will be divided into n by 2, n by 2, even half and odd half number of samples, and then again this n by 2 even half of the samples is divided into n by 4, n by 4, and the other n by 2 odd half of the samples is divided into n by 2, n by 4, n by 4, and so on. So this is how, like, a tree division of a tree structure division of the complete number of samples is done and given to a butterfly model. So this is called as the image that is shown on the screen right now is called as a butterfly diagram. So each butterfly, a single butterfly is will be having two inputs, and like basically three inputs, A, B, and one twiddle factor, and will have two outputs, that is A, like A out and B out. So this twiddle factor here is that so basically for a DFT we have the input sequence x of n multiplied with the wn. So this is again actually the e power minus j cos plus I sine. So each twiddle factor, that is W01, W80, W81, W82, and so on, will be there for 8.50. So similarly for a 64.50 we'll be having W6402 and so on. So the diagram that is shown here is generally, I mean, it's shown for a 32 point, but in general the idea is that initially the initial two points that divided two sequence inputs are taken for butterflies, and in the second stage the outputs of two butterflies are taken, first two butterflies are taken and combined similarly, and the next stage is so we have so there we can see that it is like four four inputs and four outputs, but technically that is also two butterflies which is taking two inputs. So the two inputs for one butterfly are the alternate, like the first output of first butterfly and the first output of the second butterfly. So similarly this progression continues till the final stage. This is the decimation in time implementation. So we also have some other implementation called decimation in frequency. So basically the difference between the decimation in time and decimation in frequency is that if it is a decimation in time, the input samples, time domain samples, are being decimated, or like separated into even odd halves. If it is DIT, if it is DIF, the output samples, that is which are in the frequency domain, are being decimated. When we are using DIT, the input samples are decimated, so we get the output in right sequence, that is Y0 to Y63. But in decimation in frequency, we'll be giving input samples in right order, that is x0 to x64, but the output samples will be of different order, that is of like the decimated even and odd samples respectively. So here we'll be considering the DIT implementation. wherein first the initial input samples are being divided into even half, odd half, and again so on and so forth. So now we'll look into the Verilog implementation of 64.FFT. Yes, since we have not just integers, we'll be having decimals as well. So we'll be using floating point number representation over here. And since the twiddle factors are will have even and odd, sorry, real and complex part, that is 1 plus 0 I or 1 plus 1 by root 2 I, etc. We have the inputs, two inputs A and B, which is having real part, imaginary part, real part, imaginary part, and AIZ, ARZ. These four are considered as the hidden bits for the mantissa part of the floating point number representation. Similarly, A1 and B1 are the outputs. These four are for the hidden bits of the mantissa part. So here we have configuration parameters called point, mantissa, exponent, and DIT. So point is for, you can specify whether you want to implement 16, 32, or 64, 8, even 8. And mantissa is like you, since we are using single precision, here it is 23 and exponent is 8. And DIT, if the DIT is defined in a configuration file, it means that this code will be processing in as per DIT, decimation in time. Otherwise it will be processed as 0, and if it is processed, if it is given as 0, it is processed as decimation in frequency. So these are the inputs and output declarations and intermediate wires. Apart from that, yes, so basically initially we'll be having a FIFO to take the inputs in proper order and give it to the module, and that is that is the actual control part of the total FFT. And then we have something, as we have seen, butterfly will be having three inputs, the proper two inputs, and the third is the twiddle factor. So we have instantiated a module called twiddle factor over here. So this is that module twiddle factor, which is having address as input and data 1 and data 2 as a output. So what is this data 1 and data 2 outputs from this twiddle factor is that one is real part, one is imaginary part, that is cos part and the sine part. So all the twiddle factors are being computed and stored in the floating point number representation over here, and basing on the address we will be retrieving which value to be taken, cos value, sine value, which value to be given. So now from this twiddle factor module we will be getting the output as twiddle 1 temp and twiddle 2 twiddle 1 temp 2, which are actually the inputs of the butterfly module. Yes, those inputs are yes, this is the twiddle sine and this is the twiddle cos, and these cos z and sin z is again for that hidden bit proper thing. So this twiddle sine and twiddle cos, twiddle sine, yes, twiddle cos over here. So these are the two twiddle factor inputs that are to be given to the butterfly. So now let's see that butterfly module. So yes, here TR is the real part of the twiddle factor, TI is the imaginary part of twiddle factor, and these are the hidden bits. These are the actual inputs that we have seen, and these are the output bits. So we have two outputs, A1 and B1, and real parts and imaginary parts for two outputs, and their corresponding hidden bits for mantissa. So as we have seen, if DIF select is declared in a configuration file, the procedure or the implementation of butterfly is decimation in frequency, or if it is not defined, it is decimation in time. So basically there is the butterfly difference between DIF and DIT is that in DIT what happens is we take B, one of the inputs, let's say B, is multiplied with twiddle factor, and that multiplication result is either added or subtracted to the actual values A and B. So one tick, this one tick B0 is specification of mode of this complex float add, which if it is 0 it is addition, if this is 1 this acts as subtraction. So complex floating point addition is like a real parts are added and the imaginary parts are added. So this is for the DIT butterfly. For a DIF butterfly, what happens is that the subtraction is performed, and this subtraction result is taken and multiplied with the here, yes, this subtraction result is taken and multiplied with the twiddle factor values. This is how we get one of the outputs, and the other outputs is addition of two inputs, a and b. This is a butterfly implementation. Yes, now coming to this module. So first we had FIFO for proper inputs, and then we computed twiddle factor, and we have a shift register over here. To shift each time for each clock cycle, we need to have a proper input to be obtained. For that we have, yes, for real part we have one shift register, and the hidden bit of the real part we have one more shift register. Imaginary part we have one shift register, and imaginary parts hidden bit we have one more shift register. So now how do we get the address of this address for this twiddle factor? So we have this twiddle tw1 underscore address, right? So how do we get that address is using this module called count twiddle. So here we have the counting procedure for obtaining the proper twiddle factor value at proper clock cycle. So from this we have twiddle underscore count as an output, which is given as a address for the twiddle factor. So basing on that address, from this yes, this address is given as an input to this twiddle factor module, and from which we get cos and sine values, or the twiddle factor real and imaginary parts, onto which we apply the butterfly to get our final output. This is how is the implementation of 64 point FFT is done. So now let's look into the test bench of a 64 point FFT. Here we have configuration parameters, and the inputs are registered and the outputs are taken as wires. These are the initial start reset conditions that are to be done properly for perfect output to be obtained, and these are some of the test vectors that are considered. And finally the clock toggling for obtaining continuous clock, and this is the instantiation of 64 point FFT. Now let's look into the simulation result of this 64 point FFT. Here this is the simulation result. Here we have A1R, A1I, B1R, B1I. Yes, so A1R, so the output is to be seen in this way. The first clock cycle A1R, A1I, and the next clock cycle is the first output. Like here it is 189.99 plus 7.4 into e power minus 37 is 0. So 190 plus I0 is the first output, and then the minus 2.5 plus 75 is I75 is the second output. That is like A1 output at the second instance is the second output. Similarly, it goes on till 32. So first 32 outputs will be getting at A1 R and A1 I, and the next 32 outputs will be getting at B1 R, B1 I. So here B1 B1 R, B1 I at this marker is the actual 33rd output. So now let's see the correctness of this. I've given here the exact values which are taken as test bench vectors in Verilog, and coming to this order, why I've taken this order is that in decimation in time we have the inputs to be decimated based on even half and odd half. So I've taken even half, odd half, divided it, and again this even half is again divided, and odd half is again divided, and this even half is again divided, and so on and so forth. So finally we get an order of we get this order for um, decimation in time input samples, and that same order is considered over here, and with the same input samples that are taken for Verilog test bench. Yes, I just have simulated it. Now let's see the output. So yes, here it is 1 into e power 0 2. So we have to multiply with 100. So it's 190 plus 0 I. Yes, the first output is 190 plus 0. This is 0 because 7.4 something into e power minus 37 is actually 0. And the second output is minus 2.58. Yes, into 10. So minus 2.59 plus 75 is the second output. Yes, so this is how it goes. And now let's see this 33rd output. 33rd output is like minus 1.99 plus sorry, minus I 1.75 e per minus 38, so 0. So minus 2, nearly minus 2 plus I0 is the 33rd output. 31, this is 31, this is 32, this is 33. So yes, this into 10 square, that is 100, so it is minus 2.0 plus 0I. So yes, so this is the Verilog implementation compared with the actual MATLAB FFT implementation function. Thank you.